cries echoed beneath a small bridge, the only refuge on a desolate highway. In the midst of the night silence, she brought forth life into the world, her labor a solitary struggle against the cold concrete and looming shadows. With trembling hands and a heart heavy with despair, she left her newborn behind, crawling away into the darkness as if nothing had happened. And as her footsteps faded, a lone cry echoed in the air, the innocent plea of a child left to fend for itself in the cruel embrace of the night. But fate, it seemed, had a darker plan in store. Unseen by mortal eyes, dark spirits lurked in the shadows, their malice thickening the air with dread. Among them, one entity watched with hungry anticipation, awaiting the moment when the child's fragile soul would depart its earthly vessel. As the infant's cries grew weaker, the spirit grabbed its chance, plunging into the void left behind by the departing soul. In that instant, a transformation occurred, a malevolent being taking on the guise of innocence, a nightcrawler reborn in the form of a human child, a being with a hunger that knew no bounds. Beneath the guise of tender infancy lies a ravenous thirst for blood and soul, fueled by a seething rage of forsaken innocence and ravenous appetite. An abandoned soul prowls near the roadside, each breath drawn a ghastly feast for the unquenchable hunger. With every victim claimed, its power swells, an unstoppable force of annihilation, unfortunate enough to anyone that crosses its path. An unquenchable hunger prowls. In the heart of the cornfields, a specter, abandoned and haunting. A guise of innocence, a newborn's cry piercing the dark night. It beckons, luring victims closer with desperate pleas for aid, until it strikes. Amidst the rustling stalks, a nightcrawler lurks, consuming flesh and soul, waiting for its next prey. Sucking the essence, draining life's very marrow, leaving behind naught but husks. Beware on what lurks in the darkness, where innocence masks the most ravenous hunger for revenge. In the darkness of night, a passenger aircraft hurtles through the vast expanse of the sky. Among the unsuspecting travelers, a sinister presence stirs, fueled by the seething rage of forsaken innocence. Whispers of secrets shared in the night echo faintly, unnoticed by the slumbering passengers. Hidden within the shadowed confines of the plane, the malevolent entity prowls, its movements masked by the drone of the engines. A haunting specter, it moves with calculated malice, its very presence a harbinger of doom. With every step, the air thickens with anticipation, every breath laden with a thirst for vengeance. As the tension reaches its peak, the passengers unwillingly become players in a terrifying game of predator and prey. Reality warps, and the boundaries between the tangible world and the realm of nightmares dissolve into obscurity. In a crescendo of terror, the Nightcrawler unleashes its wrath upon those unfortunate enough to cross its path. its malevolent intent is singular, unyielding, to claim the soul of the woman who condemned it to this monstrous form. The journey into the depths of terror continues, as the price of redemption must be paid in blood. In the heart of a dark, forgotten alley, the nightcrawler's eyes glinted with malevolent hunger as it closed in on its latest prey. Homeless souls scattered in terror as the monstrous being feasted, draining life and soul from each unfortunate victim. The alley echoed with their final desperate screams, but one figure remained still, a deranged woman, wrapped in a tattered black cloth. The nightcrawler paused, its senses tingling with recognition. This was the moment it had been waiting for. Its gaze locked onto the woman who had abandoned it some time ago, leaving it to die under the cold, desolate bridge. The creature's heart pounded with a mix of anticipation and long simmering rage. Slowly, methodically, the nightcrawler crept towards her. The woman looked up, her eyes meeting the creature's gaze. Recognition flickered in her eyes, a spark of maternal instinct fighting through the haze of her madness. Her trembling hand reached out, as if she saw not a monster, but the baby she had left behind. Tears streamed down her weathered cheeks, filled with remorse and sorrow. The nightcrawler paused, a moment of conflicting emotions flashing through its twisted mind. It approached her, its monstrous form now tenderly reaching out, almost mimicking a child's longing for a mother's embrace. For a brief, heart-wrenching moment, the nightcrawler's actions were gentle, as if it were a child seeking comfort. The woman's face brightened, hope igniting in her eyes. She held out her arms, hoping to cradle the creature that had once been her son. But the nightcrawler's hunger was insatiable, its purpose unchangeable. With a sorrowful yet determined resolve, the nightcrawler's true nature surged forth. It tightened its grip, and with a monstrous strength, began to feast on her, draining her life force and soul. The woman's body went limp, the light in her eyes extinguished forever. As the last vestige of her life faded, the nightcrawler stood over her lifeless body, a twisted sense of fulfillment washing over it. The once serene alley was now a scene of chaos and death, littered with the remains of those it had slain. The story serves as a haunting reminder of the consequences of abandonment and neglect. It underscores the profound impact of deserting a newborn child, leaving them vulnerable to unimaginable horrors. Let this tale be a powerful admonition against such acts, emphasizing the importance of compassion, care, and responsibility. Every child deserves a chance at life, free from the shadows of abandonment and despair.